So yesterday was the second match day in the World Cup in Group C and Group D. Now, in Group C, we saw Brazil. They got a comfortable win over Haiti, and it was as expected. This is game you would have expected Brazil to win after maybe being a bit underwhelming in that first game, getting the equaliser against Morocco, but both teams kind of settling for the draw in that second half. Yesterday, they were certainly impressive in front of goal in that first half, which is what people wanted to see, with the goal that was chalked off obviously early on, where Guimaraes sets up Rafinha, gets chalked off, but then later, not too long later, they do find the goal, and it comes, shot saved for Vinicius, and Cunha is able to get the finish in the end. Cunha then gets the second. He's got his brace before half time, and then right on half time, Vinicius Junior does find his goal. Good move from Qatar, and then slots it into Vinicius Junior, and he's able to run and get the finish. So 3-0 up Brazil at half time, and in the end, the second half didn't really have much action at all. Brazil, to be fair, as has to be said, they took it very easy in the second half. They were comfortable, and they all they did was see the game out. Not really much to report from the second half. Haiti are out, the first team that at that point they was the first team that exited the tournament. They've done themselves proud. They've played in the World Cup for the first time in a while. Gave Scotland a very close game in the second half yesterday. They was able to not concede any more goals, but Brazil certainly took it very easy. They didn't go for the statement scoreline in the second half. They just had a rest pretty much. But they needed to get a comfortable win, convincing win. Brazil, they did that in the first half, and we started to see some good link-up play between the players, which is what people would have wanted to see. The other game, Group C, Scotland. Morocco beat Scotland 1-0. Now, Scotland, a draw would have sent them through to the knockout stage. This puts Morocco in a very good position in this group, in a position where they will probably back themselves to top the group. Obviously, game started perfectly for Morocco. Less than 2 minutes in, again, it is Salbari with another goal, similar to the one they got against Brazil as well, which puts them 1-0 up early on. From there, the worst possible start for Scotland. But they do quite well, Scotland. They tried to create chances. They actually had no shots on target the whole game, but it was getting the balls in and around the box. But ultimately, Morocco were the better team. They was the stronger team. But Scotland, particularly in the second half as well, they have a real go. Maybe there's a penalty incident, not enough in that for me. But there's a penalty shout for Scotland. They really tried to force the issue. They really tried to force the way back into it. They had some good. They did create chances. Just didn't happen for them in the end. And Morocco, in the end, thought the better team did win in the end, but it was a close game and not a disaster for Scotland, because they'll be disappointed, but not a disaster, because going into the next game they've still got a good chance of getting through. I know Brazil will be tough, but because they've got the crucial 3 points against Haiti, give themselves a chance of going through as a third place team. Now in Group D, it was so impressive again from the USA. Really good performance again, excellent start. Australia, both of them two won the opening game, so it was a big game for the US. And with the result later on, they actually ended up winning the group last night as well. And them and Mexico, the first two that have sealed first place in the group, will have home games in the knockout stage. That's massive for those two as the hosts. US, so impressive yesterday, the high press, the attacking football. The team's really playing well together now, which is good. They're playing so well, playing such good football, and they could go very far in this tournament from what we've seen from them so far. Without Christian Pulisic, one of the playmakers yesterday as well, so they were brilliant. And the 7th own goal of the tournament we saw there, which is quite something. They, again, like they did in the first game, they forced the own goal early on. Australia didn't really have an answer to anything they was thrown at them in that first half. It was all the United States, Australia having the odd chance on the break, but all just American attacks mostly. They get caught out, Australia, by the free kick move, which Freeman ultimately gets to tap in, and there was talk. It looked like it might be given offside, but ultimately it was given in the end. The second half, Australia tried to find a way back into the game, penalty shout, but ultimately US very comfortable position at half time, and they was able to see the game out. The other game in Group D, we saw Turkey against Paraguay. Now Turkey had to win to avoid exiting the tournament, and they ended up making a mistake early on, and which led to the Paraguay goal. And actually, a loss for Turkey would have meant exiting the tournament. The whole game, like in the first game, they tried to find their way back into it. Even when on half-time, Almiron gets sent off, they can't find their way back into the game. So Turkey, one of the teams heavily fancied, one of the dark horses from the start, going out a group stage exit, both defeats so far, so disappointing. I don't know what's happened to them. So many quality players. The fact this has happened again is a complete disaster for them. But Paraguay, this keeps them going into that final game.